Alright, so today what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to work on this front fender that's almost done. What I've been doing in the past is kind of moving around and doing different pieces of different parts and trying to work out different dents in different areas and not finishing it completely. So I think that kind of needs to stop right now. So what I'm going to be doing today is trying to finish this front left fender. So it's almost done. There's a couple little spots. I'll show you. It looks pretty good, but I'll show you where some of the problem areas are. You can see, I don't know if you can see in the videos, some of the spots. So that's where the sander hasn't actually hit it. Those might not be a big issue or not, I don't know. So first things first is this fender's got to come off, and hopefully we can get this one done today and we can move on to something else. Alright, so this panel has a lot of work done to it. It's almost there. God, I wish I could really find the video where it shows you what kind of dents were on this before I started. But it had a big dent right here, all the way across basically, and then it had another one right in this area. Everything's basically gone. There's a small little spots where probably actually it was me just hammering incorrectly and putting dents into the panel. However, I'm pretty happy with it so far. I don't really remember where I was at with this one. So what I'll have to do is, what I'm going to start out with is I'm going to sand the panel just a little bit. I've been using what is called the guide coat method. So you might see later, once I sand it down a little farther, that there's some white primer in here, there's some black primer in here. That's what you're seeing right here on the top. What that allows you to do is that when you sand it with your blocks, which I'll show you in a minute, is that once you sand past the black, it will show white where the panel is high. So that'll allow you to show you where the low spots are, where the high spots are, and you can hammer out those low spots and bring the low spots up, bring the high spots down. That's how you get the panel straight. So this one is almost pretty close. You can actually, I don't think you can see it in the video, but there's some areas, I've already sanded this panel, but right where, something like right here, where it's low, it hasn't been sanded, and you can actually see it and feel it, because where I sanded the primer is very smooth, and where the sander wasn't hitting it is very rough. You can actually see that in this panel. So I'm using kind of a small block, but I think it works pretty all right for what I'm trying to do. The longer the block, the bigger the block, the more flat it's going to be. So, but for my purposes, I think this block is fairly good. I bought the whole set from Durablock, and I really like them. They seem to be working out perfectly. Got a long roll of sandpaper. So far it's worked out pretty good. Alright, so after a little bit of sanding, you can see that the white primer is starting to show through, and actually you can actually see the metal of the panel showing through that. So you know that these spots are very, very high. I don't know if it comes out in the video, but you can see right there next to it where it's kind of a rough patch where the block hasn't actually even touched it yet. So you know that this is the low, and that's kind of the high right there. So what you have to do is push that material back into that low spot. So that's kind of the strategy there when you get your hammer and dollies back out. So there's a small issue right here also that needs to be cleaned up. And this whole edge was rolled over a lot. I didn't realize it until actually I started to do that body work. I'll get some of the hammers and dollies out and see if we can't correct some of these issues that are on this panel. The goal today is hopefully to try and finish it by the end of the day and get this one done, so I don't have to keep taking it off the car. We can move on to something else and finally call something finished, ready to wrap. Personally, I like this hammer. I just like the weight and the feel of it, and the fact that the edges are all kind of rounded off, which is perfect for somebody like me who can't swing a hammer for shit, and you end up hitting the panel on this edge, which does more harm than good. Like this one is pretty rounded off, just so in case you hit just a little crooked, you're not totally ruining your day. So after about an hour of hammering, an hour of sanding, the panel kind of starts to look like this, which is a little confusing. So what I'm going to have to do now is grind everything down and replace the guide coat. So that's what I'm going to do now. So now that I wait for that white paint to dry so I can spray some black over it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally cover up this white just for the time being, so you don't have to drive around in a car that has a big white spot on the side of it. Alright guys, that's it for this video. This fender is so close to being done, which I'm pretty excited about because I'm getting really tired of doing all the work on just this fender. We got a lot more work to go. As you know, the car has dents everywhere, and there's still a lot more to come here. So fortunately I think we've got another day on this fender before it's done. But it's looking pretty good now. And then we can move on to other things. If you want to keep seeing videos and keep seeing updates of the car, let me know by subscribing to the channel.
Good boy, Alvin.